I don't know. I got that excited. I'm drunk. I will be by the end of the interview, and I'm a little bit now. But point remains, my name's Jace, and I'm here with Dave, call him David, or you'll be shunned, and young Wil with one ill. It's one L, whatever.
It's all right.
Here at Haven Gastropub and Brewery in lovely Pasadena, and if you haven't been here, you're going to show you why you need to come, and part of it starts here with the charm and the brain trust that is Dave and Wil. I'm sorry, David. So you two started at the original Haven in Orange. Talk about, you're the owner, Wil, yes?
Yeah, I'm one of the owners. There's three partners. Myself, Chef Greg Daniels, and Ace Patel. We opened up in 2009, right there in Old Town Orange. So it's a great little location. Start off with the all-craft beer and kind of continue to do that. So excited about it.
Yeah, and what I think's cool for me, and having been to the Orange location many times, is how it's everything. It's not just the craft beer, but it's also the food and things like that. And I think, I don't know if you classify yourself as a gastropub, would you not? Or what would be sort of the catch-all term?
That is into our name, Haven Gastropub. And the gastropub concept came about of just the elevated food. We decided to take it a step further. Greg Daniels puts together, my partner Greg, I don't want to be too formal with him, but Greg does a great job with the food, and that's where it all starts at. And we wanted to have something that complemented what he did. And the craft beer was the way to go. And then on top of that, going with just like a boutique or select wine list, as well as doing just like select spirits. So there's certain things that we don't carry, have never, and will never.
Right.
To name, like, big beer,
Sure.
That Budweiser company and that Coors company. And that Miller company. We don't carry any of that, and it's not so much of that. It's just that we don't carry it. So
right.
We looked at there's better products, especially stuff that's produced locally, and done in a better manner for sure.
And what I think is a cool nexus between those is actually our man David here, who started, I believe, in the kitchen in Orange. Is that correct?
Yeah, I started on the line, cooking on the line in Orange when we first opened.
And what exactly was you had like a fancy title, it was like Chef de Provence or something like that?
No. I was just a line cook.
Just a line cook?
Yeah.
Hairnet guy.
Yeah.
We didn't
wear hairnets back there, but we did sweat our ass off cooking a bunch of awesome food.
Yeah.
And then moved up through the ranks, became a sous chef, and now I'm here making awesome beer.
Yeah.
So.
And what was that transition for you? Did you walk into Wil one day and go, "Boss, try this beer"? And he's like, "Okay, we do have like 12 amazing beers right here, but try this." Or did he know in advance?
No, I would always tell him on my days off, "Hey man, you know what I did this weekend? I made a Imperial Stout. You gotta try it." He's like,
first mistake,
right.
giving him days off. I just want to make that clear. But anyway, go on.
So I'd bring it in and share with all my fellow co-workers, and of course Greg and Wil and Ace, and they loved it. So just led the fuel of my passion to make more awesome beer. And
right.
One day they came up to me and they said, "You're a guy. You're a guy." I'm like
like you're being made and Goodfellas.
Like, I was like,
sit down. Let me tell you, you're a guy here.
Right.
And then what they say?
That's it. And then,
great story.
That's it. Yeah. And then months later, they're like, "No, you're a guy." And I'm like, "What? Okay, what the hell are you talking about?" He's like, and then he's like, took his phone out. He's like, "Look at these pictures." And so then it began.
The thing is, started off, we definitely liked what you put together. Went a couple trips to the Home Brew Festival.
Yes.
Got invited to that. That was some fun camping out there, and got to meet some great people. Vinny from Russian River, that was great to meet up with him. Julian, now it's the brewer over at Beechwood Barbecue.
Yeah.
Met him a couple years before he actually started over there, which was really cool. But being able to taste the beers that Dave produced and had on show there, which was really good. Knew that he knew what he was doing, been doing it for a long time. It made sense. I mean, we're a family at Haven. We like to always promote within, is what we say and do. It's just a matter of that Dave was the right candidate for it. So got excited about it. Talked to some great brewers that we knew to get them over and start brewing on some larger systems. What do we got? Taps. We had brewery.
Montaigne.
Oceanside
Ale Works. Just kind of went over there and sharpened my teeth a little bit on equipment and just all around everything.
Now, was that always something in the back of your head? You thought, you know what, I really dig this home brewing and I'd like to take it to the next level? Or when they said you're the guy, you're like, oh, I'm the guy, apparently.
No, it's always been kind of a dream, like, and I still have a bigger dream to kind of, you know, have some.
I'm gonna blow this joint, Will. I got a bigger dream.
I'm out of here. And just, you know, make awesome beer and make people happy at the end of the day. Like, when I was making food, it was so cool to go out and look in the dining room and people are sitting there and like having a great time.
Yeah.
And part of that was the craft beer that we have there, and that's really my passion, is just awesome beer and making people happy. It's just so rewarding.
And, you know, it's on you now. We got to get some beer going in here. When are we going to see some deliciousness?
Soon. Probably, hopefully, by the end of February.
End of February.
Get some beers on. Yeah.
So as I sit here now, we're talking like 6 weeks, something like that. That's awesome.
Hopefully, yeah.
And going in very soon then, if you're going to have them ready by the end of February?
Yes.
You're like, yep, that sounds right. I'll have to check
It was yesterday.
Oh, really? No. And you're going to do a bunch of different varieties? You're going to stick to sort of one, this is our signature beer?
No, not really. We're going to we'll have a couple of beers that I'm sure everybody will love and we'll probably make over and over. But seasonal brews, most definitely. Chef comes to me with some ingredients. I'm going to try to make something that will complement that or some special dish. But yeah, all kinds of beer.
What's going to be the first one you're going to dough in with?
Well, Imperial Stout, double IPA.
We can't do two at the same time. I wonder what number one is going in.
It's kind of a secret.
Oh!
Kind of a secret.
All right, we'll see. I'll find out for you. Don't you worry. I won't tell you, but I'll find out. That's a promise. And so, are you nervous? Are you excited? How does it feel, kind of being right on the outside of this big project?
It's really, really exciting. Local communities come to me with open arms. It's really cool. All the brewing community is amazing around here. But yeah, a little bit nervous, but very, very excited. I mean, I've my crew of home brewers and pro brewers. I feel totally confident that we're going to make amazing stuff, and it's going to be awesome.
How do you feel about it? I mean, going forward,
you know, we're excited. I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, at Orange we have 14 beers on tap. Here we have 52 taps, 8 wine, 4 cask, you know, and then 40 from there on out. So to be able to get our own beer and to be able to have that, hopefully get it down to Orange, get it down to Taco Asylum in Costa Mesa, and everything else, I think that it's going to be a great deal of fun for everybody. I mean, It's one thing to be a beer bar. It's another thing to be a brew pub, to actually be producing the beer on site. People are just, you know, clamoring for that. I mean, there's not too many out there. You know,
really are. And not doing it sort of on the real artisan level. You know, if you think about brew pubs, you generally think about these almost huge behemoths now.
Right.
And it doesn't feel as sort of artisan and small and accessible. And I think Gabe's doing it great at Beechwood, for instance. Yeah. And it's nice to see a player here locally in LA or Pasadena, as it were.
Pasadena, for sure. I mean, so some say that it's definitely not LA, it's Pasadena. It's more of a, you know, Orange was like a microcosm of what Pasadena is. And that's why it was this. Old Pasadena was a definite was an easy fit for us, and what we were looking to put out. The building almost like screamed Haven when we first saw it and did the tour around it and everything else. It was just one of those things that be able to almost, after the 2 years of doing things at Orange, now 2+ years, we were able to kind of say, okay, we're going to build a place the way we want to do it now. It's like we're still developing out the concept, and things were just being rounded out at that point. Now it's like, okay, now we have a beer system, you know, something that's advanced, really cool, that's we can really put our name behind. It was a lot of fun. I know I talked to you about it for past year on developing the beer system here, which was really cool.
But so the two things I think that stand out, at least on the beer side. Talk to me a little bit about the design and the function of the cask system, the long draw cask, which you don't see a lot of, especially in California, as well as the innovation you created with the draft beer system.
Well, it kind of started off, as you know, like in talking to you numerous times about it, it started off with the Cicerone program that Ray Daniels puts together, kind of going through that process, learning more about it. I kind of went through the first couple stages, like looking at it, saying, hey, this is a cool aspect to have for staff and everything else. I'm going to, you know, kind of try things out. And then I ended up going to the Micromatic Draft Institute there, picking up some knowledge there. plumbing background from my family, my dad, that had taught me a lot of things being around that business. There's a better way to do things.
Right.
System orientated, knowing how much cost of beer is per ounce and everything else, breaking it down, and then seeing how much was wasted. When people are coming in, cleaning your lines, not doing it effectively. After coming back from that, it shined a lot of light onto it. And then Dave and I kind of started talking about it, saying, hey, you know, you would be amazed at what I learned in this class. And I started talking about it. He's like, oh, yeah, I get that on the home brewing side of it and everything else. But I'm like, dude, there's got to be a better way to do it. And that's kind of where it started off. You know, pushing beer with liquid, not with air. A couple different aspects going that way. Couplers dealing with quick disconnects versus, you know, wrenches. Making things quicker, making change quicker. You know, those are all the things. Problems that arise, solutions need to be had. As far as it came down to this place, you can never build my belief, you can never build a restaurant until you have the place.
Right.
You can sit there and say it all you want unless you're building it from the ground floor. That's the only time you have a space and it's going to tailor what you're going to do. So we had different areas, different rooms, styles of the bar, where things were at, and needed to kind of make something happen with what we were doing.
Right.
So that's where kind of the thing started off. So a clean and play system or CIP system was something that came in place.
Right.
And that's what worked out, and that worked out with the quick disconnects and everything else.
Yeah. And cask is a real ale, if you will, which is, you know, it's serving beer in the same vessel in which was carbonated. So it's not going to be that heavy carbonation, that very effervescent. It's going to have a really smooth palate and mouthfeel. And California doesn't do a lot of that, but you really made a commitment to doing cask beer here. But you've done it in an interesting way. You're doing a long draw system, I think. How did this come about?
You know what? The system originally, like any place that you build a restaurant, you're not going to be able to, like I said before, you're not going to be able to say, okay, hey, this is where it's going to be, unless you really rip every wall down and build it to that. So we ended up coming up with a great little area that we weren't able to do anything with. It actually happens to be behind you and Dave, which is our wine cellar and our cask cellar. So we have that temperature control, 55 degrees. So it's at cellar temperature. Everybody thinks that you're going to have a cask and it's going to be room temperature. And room temperature, Southern California, it's between 70 and 80. So if you have a cask ale at that, it's not going to be too appetizing. It's going to be too warm. It's not what you're going to want. So we have that situated out where that worked out. You know, it worked out that we can put it in there instead of having to get a cooler and putting it underneath the bar, taking up valuable space that's right there. Or
not really be able to maintain the temperature at that point either.
Yeah,
so many bars face. It's hard.
It's really hard. Glycol jackets and everything else, it's not consistent. This way it's a little bit easier to be able to do. We did some research and came across this a cool device called a widge. I know there's some places that utilize that where you're able to tap a cask ale or a firkin or a pin and utilize do it in an upright format. And so you're able to yield out a little bit more. But it seems like from a couple of people that I've talked to over at the Surly Go and stuff, Skip had mentioned it to me that as soon as they started using the widge, is that it extended the life of their casks a little bit longer. And that's the whole thing with a real ale. The clock's ticking. The moment you drive that in there, it's going to be starting the clock. I reached out to a lot of different people to try to get some great information. Jonas over at the brewery, he worked for quite a few years overseas at a couple places that were long drawing, like 200 plus feet.
Yeah.
So
it can be done. It can be done.
So the idea was to reach out and find some people that we were able to kind of get that information from. That's what we ended up doing. Grabbing that info, being able to do it, and through a couple of different check valves, fobs, and pumps. It worked out great. So, and again, being able to long draw our wine in that same room worked out the same way. Yeah. So it was a good deal.
One of the cool things to me, and surprisingly, I'm not a road scholar. I know I seem brilliant, but I don't know a ton of French. But one word I do know, thanks to you gentlemen, is sous vide. Am I saying that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sous vide.
I'm kidding. I know what I'm saying. That's a setup for a question. It's what it's supposed to do. Sous vide. Talk to me about it. What the hell is it? What does it mean in French? And go.
Dave, you want to touch sous chef Dave? From that?
Sure. Well, we basically use an immersion circulator that you put into liquid, to keep the water at a certain temperature exactly where you want it for a certain length of time. And what we use that with is we'll vacuum seal some chicken or like pork belly or anything pretty much. We do eggs in immersion circulators.
Really?
Yeah, just to cook them exactly so you can crack them. The outside's hard, but the middle is still runny.
They stay in their shell, and you're able to cook them to whatever you want. Like a poached egg can be in the shell open. It's at the right consistency of the whites as well as the yolk. So it ends up becoming a great deal.
That's
so
phenomenal.
Using that sous vide technique, we can bring a steak to medium rare and hold it exactly right there until it's basically ready to go, and flash it real quick on a pan or something to get the
crispness on the outside,
crispness on the outside, and then throw it on a plate, and there you go, you're done.
It's great, and that's kind of an interesting. I don't see that. I feel in a lot of restaurants. It seems like you guys are taking your kitchen and really doing things that aren't necessarily de rigueur that everybody else is doing. Is that the big claim to fame? You got what else you got up your sleeve?
Pubs maybe not so much that are like doing a lot of that stuff. A lot of your finer restaurants are using that cooking technique, and like you were asking, sous vide of like, what it means in bag. It's the idea is that like you hear a lot of it on like cooking shows, that the chicken is not cooked all the way or something like that. Right. That can't happen. Our chicken's cooked all the way already because it's slow cooked in a vacuum sealed bag.
All its juices and all its.
So you're not just doing like a straight ahead oven or something like that. This
Correct.
sous vide is really, it's a whole different way of cooking altogether.
Yes, it's a whole technique. There's a way to do it, and a lot of science that goes to it. Yeah, there has to be HACCP plan that has to be done and submitted to the state to be able to do it and everything. It's not for the layman, that's for sure.
Which is why I've never done it.
Right. You're right. Chef Daniels does a great job on putting that together and making sure that everybody knows what they're doing in the kitchen as far as that comes there. So, people don't get, don't develop any like botulism or something like that, which can come from vacuum sealed like food.
Oh, really?
Not cooked properly, yeah.
Okay.
So.
And then there's you have some sort of fancy dancy oven.
Yep. Along that same note, we have a combi oven, they call it, which is uses steam as well as like a convection oven. So that's where you get kind of like the name. It's a combination oven. It utilizes steam and convection, which I used to always say that and I still do the sous vide process is like a jacuzzi for food. It circulates the water at a consistent temperature. Same thing you get with a convection oven. You're circulating air so that it's evenly distributed, the heat. Combi oven's going to do the same thing, but it deals with moisture. You could sous vide in a combi oven. It's a pretty advanced thing, super expensive oven.
The sous vide in the combi.
Yeah,
sure.
And you could sous vide in the combi oven. Same way you can do beef jerky, dehydrate. You can do all sorts of things into those. We have 2 of them, which is pretty awesome, so we're pretty excited.
Ooh la la!
Yeah,
2 combi ovens, do tell.
Yeah.
Ladies, did you hear? And as we do in the business, you got to wrap it up, which I think is cool because wrapping up to me is bringing everything together, which for me, again, is sort of the hallmark of what you've done. You're bringing it all together. So you got the food, you've got the beer, the handsomeness and the charm, and even when I leave,
Are you talking about yourself?
I am, of course.
Okay.
But what I'd like to see you do now is put all that to use. As a former chef, as a dude who likes to eat and drink, give me an idea of something you would think here. Do you have 40 taps? Or wines, whatever you want. Give me an idea. What would you think, if you're coming in here, what would be a good example of a pairing? For food, beer, do a drink, whatever you like. Chefy?
All right.
Brewery?
Do the bacon wrapped prawns on cheddar cheese grits.
Ooh la la. You make that, by the way? Here?
Yeah, it's really amazing. Absolutely.
I got that.
Probably pair it with something a little bit hoppy. Maybe the Mongo from Port Brewing.
Good. Nice call. Okay. And why would you do that?
The hoppiness kind of cuts the spiciness and the fat in the grits. And from the bacon on the prawns.
I like that you picked a sort of a bigger IPA too, because I think that there's some bold flavors there, and there's a little bit of that maltiness that'll come through with the beer too. That's genius, man.
Thanks.
We'll have that later. Anyway, Will, what do you got, my friend?
That's a good
on
one,
the spot.
That's tough to put a double IPA on paired with some food. One of the things, braised crisp pork belly. It's one of my favorite dishes that we have on the menu. Sir puree, Dijon microgreens. It's sous vide You know,
Heyo.
yeah. Sous vide, finished off the crispy top on it. It's just amazing. Base. I would say it's like a bacon steak.
Oh,
Yeah. So I mean, it's the
amazing.
same cut. So it's amazing. It's a fantastic dish. One of the ones I just recently tried was a rye on the palate.
the Golden Road.
By Golden Road,
Yeah.
right there in Eagle Rock. So I think that goes really well. I think that a little bit of that bitterness kind of goes with it, but it still has some, that you're getting from the rye, but it still has some nice malty character that kind of goes along really well, because you're going to get a little bit of salt that goes with it as it's made in the pork belly. So I think that goes well. So big fan.
I dig that, and honestly, I will be the judge later because you offered me a free meal, which was so nice of them. But honestly, the cool thing about that is they just did that on the spot. I invite you to do the same. Come out to Haven, try the food, try the beers, put them together, and you'll have a great time. Thank you guys for coming to Pasadena, and thanks for having me out. It's always good to see you, gentlemen.
Thanks. Cheers.